Ladies and gentlemen, welcome to my channel. Tonight we are in Switzerland. We're going to talk about why silage is still king in Farm Sim 22. And when I say silage, I mean silage bales. I'm not talking about corn or chopped up other crops that you turn into chaff, and that's a whole other process. I've got videos on that. If you go through my playlist, you'll see how to everything about grass and hay and silage, and videos about forage harvesters. I've got tutorials on that. We're not talking about that tonight. What we're specifically talking about is silage bales. Okay, I'm going to say this at the start. I tend to be long-winded. I tend to take my time and talk about things in real life and in game life and how they apply to the game. If you can't handle that and you like Sesame Street and that's your favorite show, get out. Don't leave a comment saying, "Oh, you talk too much." Get out now. Because I take my time. I try to get you to understand what you're doing in real life and also how this applies to the game. So there you go. If you can't handle that, get out. All right, moving right along. So what we have here is a nice pile of silage bales. In this version of the game, you no longer just get silage immediately once you mow. You have to let it sit for a while. So I think it's like 2 months it sits, and then it ferments and it becomes silage. So you're not going to sell right away, but that's okay because we have to consider price fluctuation. And the peak price is usually in January for silage. So you make your silage throughout the year. You save it just like this, in nice long rows, pile it up on your yard. And when it's time to sell, you start driving it over to the facility and sell it. First things first, let's talk about why silage. Okay, there's many, many reasons. And what you're looking here is the equipment set that you need to do it. The first reason is because once you plant grass, you never have to plant it again. That's a huge benefit. I don't have to have a seeder. I don't have to keep liming. I don't have to keep plowing or cultivating or using up all that gas. I only have to do it once, the first time I plant a field. And I would recommend, honestly, like when we're in Switzerland and they give you these fields that they've given you already have grass on them. But I would recommend getting a culti plow, tear them up, then put lime down, and then plant your grass, and then do a roller on them. Do like the seed roller, not the fertilizing roller that we have here. But you can rent the equipment to do that. So you rent a seeder, you rent the culti plow, and you get them planted right. Make sure you do the rolling, the seed roller. That will get you 100% crop. And from that point forward, there's no maintenance. And in fact, every time you cut the lawn, you get a 50% bonus for fertilizer. So mowing the lawn actually fertilizes the lawn one step. And in this version of the game, there's 2 steps of fertilization. So you want to mow. And then if you really want to, you can either spray or spread fertilizer, or you can use this device. Now, be aware, when you use this is basically a cost-free, they call it a roller. This is a different roller than the seed roller. This is a roller that you use for specifically grass. However, be aware that this device will put the grass back to the first state of growth. So if you use this immediately after you mow the same day, there's really no impact. But if you use this, like let's say I go right now and this grass is halfway grown and I run this on it, it's going to kill off that grass and it's going to start growing again. And that is not great because then we're going to miss our second or third cutting. So year-wise, we'll run out of time month-wise, and the grass will stop growing, and we'll miss it because we rolled too late. So you have to, if you're going to use a grass roller, you have to do it right after you mow. Okay, that's a little tip. But anyway, the whole point is there's literally no maintenance to the field. That's the number one reason why grass is great. The number 2 reason is, and this is another huge benefit to doing the silage bales, you can get up to 3 harvests a year off that same field. Whereas with other crops, it's 1 harvest. So if you're doing any other crop in the game, you can only grow one a year. But grass regrows every couple months. So you can mow in I think March is usually when you mow. You can mow again in August or September, and then again in October, November. I think right now I mowed in August. It's now September, and you can see the grass. It says ready to harvest, but it's only halfway there. And I did fertilize this. You can see I did the roll around this, so we're at 96%. But my problem is the yield bonus is 95% because I never did the seed roller at the beginning, and you're supposed to do that. So you can pull as many as 3 harvests a year off your grass, which is triple what you're going to get for any other crop. And on top of that, you don't have to weed. Grass never grows weeds in this game for whatever reason. So once you're growing grass, you will not have to deal with weeds anymore. And there's no harvester needed. You just mow. The mowing is the harvesting. So the great part about that is you can sell your seeder, you can sell your cultivator, you can sell your harvester, and there's the money you need to buy the equipment to do the grass work. And I'm going to show you now what we need. I would strongly recommend a mowing kit that has a windrower, and you'll see, and I'll show you how to find those. This Pottinger set has one. Now, I very rarely recommend mods, okay? Usually my videos are mod free, but in this case, the mods are very important. There's several mowing kits that you can download like this that have the windrowing ability, and you're gonna need that. You can see here, this is closed. And so what happens when I mow, the mowing from the front and the whole unit all come out in a single trail in the back. Very easy to collect. That way I don't have to go back and windrow. Then this is where the mods come in. Well, let's take a look at the mowers first, though. Hang on. If I go in here and I go to mowers, I cannot see this kit. This will not work. Okay. This is the Pottinger kit. It's called the Crossflow. Okay. Now, what's interesting is it doesn't tell you that it windrows, but I just know it does. So you're looking for the NovaCat 301 for the front. You can use any front mower, honestly. Any of these will work. But this is the important part. The Crossflow is the important part. And we're going to take a look at that. And you can see, if you look at it carefully, what you'll notice about this mower, this is the front side. On the back, you have this rounded base, okay? That's what makes the difference, because the grass goes in there and there's a belt that pushes it to the center. And these are configurable. You can also open, if you're going to make hay, you can also have them flip open so that they leave trails for hay, and then you can ted it. But anyway, the point is, if you're making silage, this is the one that you want. Okay. Now, there's a Vicon kit that also does it. This is a mod, but you can download that if you like Vicon and you want to stick with the Vicon brand. There's that out there. These are part of the mod. Once again, any mods that I show you will be in the mod hub. So you can just download them on your game, even if you're on console. You don't have to go to the web and look for them. They're on the game. This is the next very important piece of equipment. This is a mod, and I definitely recommend this, though. This is the Vicon Fast Bale. This will, basically, you just go up there and drive. This baler will slow the tractor down as needed, and it dumps the bales out on the fly automatically. So you just drive along over the grass, and this will wrap the silage. This will make the grass into silage by wrapping it, and then it dumps it on the field, and you just keep driving. You got to get one of these. They have other ones in the game that come with the game, but they don't fast bale. They just, you have to stop. You have to wait. You have to press the button for it to unload, and then you have to wait for it to wrap, and then you put it down. It's a slow process. This is a much faster baler. So definitely you want the Vicon. And so I'm going to recommend that you download this. This is a must-have for silage work. Last but not least, we have the Anderson bale trailer. This is how we're going to pick up the bales off the field. And then when you dump them off, this is what it does to them. It leaves them in a nice row like that. And so you come here, dump, and then you can do the next one up here and dump. And so it's a very nice, clean way to have the bales stored. And then once they're fermented, you can load them back up on the wagon and sell them. However, once again, I would recommend only selling in January when you get peak price. And that brings us to another amazing thing about silage that's different than anything else in the game. You can sell 1 million silage bales at the animal dealer, and the price will not fluctuate. With all the other crops in the game, as you sell it, it makes the price go down. But for some reason, bales are not affected. Now, the bales do go up and down with the price. So, like, if I sold these in August, they'd be worthless. They'd be worth half of what they're worth in the winter. But if I wait till winter and sell them, I can sell as many as I want without affecting the market price. That's very important because you can just sell all of them and not be like, dang it, I only got half for the rest of them. Like, you get the whole amount for all the bales. So that's another neat feature about doing silage and why silage is still king. Last but not least, your tractor is very important. I'm going to say, I think this is a 300. Now, we're in Switzerland, and here's my grass hills. I've got 2 really big fields of grass, and they're very hilly. So I went with a high horsepower tractor because a lot of times I'm pulling uphill, and that you can see here, this is just a pretty steep grade. God, I love this map. Look at that. And so I'll show you how to make the bales once we're going here. But once again, just do your planting right. And then from that point forward, this is the easiest stuff in the world. But yeah, you can see this is really hilly too. So my Kloss tractor that I'm using right here is, and you can go Kloss, you can go any brand you want. But it's a medium tractor and it's got 295 horsepower. We also have a smaller one that I'm running. I think it's like 200 something. Yeah, 205 for the other one. But that's not going to be enough. To run those mowers on a hill, you really do need some serious power. So I would say 300 is the minimum. I mean, we're at 295, close enough. But yeah, right in that range there. I would not get any tractor smaller than 300 horsepower. So you're going to put some money into this. But since you don't have to have anything else, you can sell you can sell your harvester. You can sell all your planting equipment. If you have some planting equipment, I mean, obviously rent what you need to get the grass planted properly. If you have it already, just use what you have and then sell it. Or return the rental, and then when you'll have enough money, you should easily have enough money to buy a nice tractor and get this equipment. If you don't, well, then you can lease the equipment, and for the first couple of harvests, you're going to make, enough money to get equipment. So to give you an idea, these 2 large, and here's the other thing that you have to consider. Okay, if you have a real small farm with little fields, that's the only place that this really isn't going to work. If you have a real tiny field, or a couple of small fields, you might want to go with a root crop like potatoes or sugar beets because you don't have a lot of field space to work with, but you'll get more crop off of those. And you might, with grass, you might only get a couple bales, which is going to take you forever to make money. But if you have a decent amount of field space, the grass is definitely the best way to go. And you can see this farm brings in, let's take a look at I think it'll show us. Hang on. Yeah, it stinks because it doesn't show you back. But here you can see I've sold on my farm. We've made $22,000 because I spent a lot of money. I bought land. I bought another field with the money that I made, but I also paid off all my loans, spent $44,000 on vehicles. So this August, we sold bales. I should have waited till January, but I didn't. Last year we did. But just one bale sale from our yard, basically, or from our fields, was $174,000. So on a normal game, I pulled in $174,000. If I would have waited till winter, I probably could have brought in like closer to $200,000. So an additional $30,000 probably if I had waited till the price was the peak price, because August is on the low end. So, yeah. So that just shows you that, hey, you can make some good money. Do you think you're going to get $200,000 of soybeans off this field? I mean, maybe you might, but then you have to have the harvester and then you have to replant it. So, and you only get 1 crop a year. Here, I'm getting 3 of those. So if I keep my spring and summer and fall cuttings, all 3 cuttings, and that's a real life thing, by the way. The farmers around here, they try to get 3 cuttings a year. This year, unfortunately, the farmers only got 2, which means for my poor wife who runs the horse business, hay prices are going to be skyrocketing in the winter. Now, she was smart and she bought several months of hay ahead of time. So she's got a barn full of hay, and so we're okay. But come February, she's going to have to start looking for hay until the next cutting. So right now, prices are going up because they were only able to get 2 cuttings. But in Farm Sim, you can almost always get 3 cuttings as long as you cut as soon as it's ready to grow or ready to cut. So third cutting is coming up for us here in October, and that will get another $170,000 plus off that next cutting. So we will have made, just from 2 cuttings, almost $400,000. Insanely good. That's insanely good pricing. So, and that if we count the spring one, 600. So we're about 550, 500, maybe $600,000 for 3 cuttings. So that's this farm. Every farm is going to be a little bit different because of field size, but you can see right there, that's why this is important and why it's a good thing. So let's go ahead and fast forward, and I'm going to show you how to make the bales. Real simple, easy stuff. And then we'll let them ferment, and we'll sell them, and you can see that. But they're worth, at peak price, they're worth about, on this map, about $2,000 per bale. So, yeah, I mean, right here, we got probably... Oh, yeah, so let's say 25 bales to make it easy. Double that. It's $50,000. So it's $2,000, a little bit over that. So, yeah, right here is about $50,000 in bales. That would be correct, yeah, in the winter. Crazy talk, right? All right, so let's go ahead and mow. I'll be back. And so October has arrived, and we're going to do just a very small cutting. I'll do the rest later. This grass is ready. I know it's kind of weird because I did plant it like the way you're supposed to plant it. It actually changed color. So the natural grass is this beautiful green with the little flowers in it. And my grass is dark green when it's growing, and then kind of, I don't know, military. It might, no, that's fully grown. Like you can see height-wise, it's ready to be harvested. It just doesn't have the little... It doesn't have the little flowers in it. So we are in the windrow position. And you can see here as I mow, it leaves a nice clean row. So all we have to do then is bale that. I mean, it's so simple. And this is why, and you can see another benefit that might be like misconstrued, but is definitely a benefit. Instead of harvesting at 6 miles per hour, we're harvesting at 14 miles an hour. So we also get the job done a little faster, though we have to make baling. But you have to bale with a lot of regular crops too. So I don't know. I mean, it may be not a huge benefit, but in my eyes, it's monstrously huge. The time saving. That's probably good enough for the video. I'm going to go ahead and run down to the end here, and then I'll be back. All right, and we got our Vicon baler. Once again, the fast bale. There's also a Kubota version of this. So but you can see the nice thing here is that you don't have to keep stopping and unloading it. It does everything automatically, and that's why I recommend this particular baler over any other bale wrapper combination. This one's just you just go. It adjusts speed as it needs to. You don't ever have to stop. And so it makes it kind of brainless. Not that brainless is necessarily a good thing, but you could just sit here in the cab and listen to your favorite tunes. This is where 6 miles. Now you're harvesting at harvesting speed. And we may have a bale roll past us here in a minute because we're on a pretty steep hill, but that's the only downside, is that the bales, with this one, they tend to roll away. There are some wrapping balers. I think there's one from Fent, and one from Massey that when they wrap, they actually put them down on their sides so they won't roll. But those are also ones that you have to stop with. So once again, I still recommend the fast bale just because You may have to chase a bale here. No, they stopped. No. Yeah, that one's moving. It may move for a while. Sometimes they do. Anyway, that's how that works. I think you've seen enough. And you know how to use a bale collector. You just run up with it and pick them up. And so a little bit about the bale. Once again, you're going to see here. I'll let it finish doing what it's doing. But if we look closely at the bale, this is down at the bottom there on the right. I own it. It's grass right now, and it's 0% fermented. It takes approximately 2 game months / days to ferment. So once those are fermented, you can sell them. But I would hold on to them until January when the price is at peak. And you can always go in and check your fluctuations. Here's where we look at. So I'm going to go down to silage. And I'm going to show price fluctuations. It's November right now. It's up to about $500, but $570 is the peak in January. So that's when you want to sell. So right now it's at 500, yeah. 518 at the biogas plant, but the biogas plant, you can only sell a limited amount. You always want to sell at the animal dealer because they're unlimited on how many you can sell. The biogas plant gets full, so maybe you could start there, but then you also have to load them into that stupid bin. Just sell it at the animal dealer. Much easier. So that's that. I just wanted to share that with you guys. Once again, silage still is king. You're going to bring in 2 to 3 times as much money as you do with a regular crop. And you only have to mow and bale. You don't ever have to replant. You don't ever have to run the harvester or, all you got to do is just mow. So now the downside, and before I go, I'll let you have that one. The tedium. After a couple of years of doing it, you get bored, but you'll be rich. So then you'll be able to turn around and buy all the equipment you want for regular farming. So anyway, I hope you guys enjoyed this video. Have a great night. Be sure to subscribe. Thumbs up always help. Check out my series. I've got both the Richland Valley Vineyard, which I haven't done anything for a while. I need to get on that. And I also have my Spruce Mountain series, where we have a big American farm that Micah and I are running, and we're doing cattle, and we're doing all kinds of stuff on that farm. Definitely worth checking out. Have a great night. Be sure to subscribe, and we'll see you next time. Bye.